essays are coming along smoothly. Since APA is new to some people, and others of y'all could probably use a refresher, I wanted to go over a few things quickly. What you see in front of you is the same out-of format and APA style paper using Google Docs guide that is available on our Canvas homepage. Now, this is only concerned with formatting. What you've got in front of you is not a citation guide. I cover that in a different presentation, and you can also look at owl.purdue.edu or the APA style guide that I linked on Canvas for citation help. You will see that this guide does say Google Docs on it, but the basic instructions will work for Microsoft Word as well. Some of the menus and drop down options are a bit different, but the ideas are the same. So, let's get into this. The things I'm about to explain are what professors typically expect when they say APA formatting, so keep that in mind. These are not instructions just for this class. In other words, if you want to download this guide and use it elsewhere, that's fine with me. You can also save the link to the explanation video if you prefer the visual aspect. It'll be up on YouTube for however long it's up on YouTube. Now, the first thing that you'll see is that you do need to have your font size set at 12-point font. As this is no longer the default setting in Word or Google Docs, it's best to change this first so that the font size stays the same for your entire essay. You'll see here that I have chosen the font style Arial. That is one of the most common fonts chosen, but Times New Roman, Calibri, Cambria, and Garamond are also typically seen as acceptable. If your professor has a preference in font styles, they will let you know. From there, you need to create your header. In APA format, APA Papers for Students, that is only the page number. Professional papers are a bit different, but since we're talking about school papers, we're going to ignore those professional requirements. If you need those specific guidelines later, go look them up in the APA Style Guide or on Purdue University's OWL. We are focusing on student essays here. Anyway, those page numbers need to appear in the top right-hand corner of every page. To do this, you have two options. One is the way I've outlined in the document here with pictures. You go to the Insert menu, then the Header and Footers drop-down menu, and select Header. This will cause the Header menu to appear at the top of that page. Now, the easier way to make the Header menu appear is just to double-click at the top of the document. Either way, what you see is it's grayed out here, but there's a blue text that says Options. This is the Header menu up here at the very top. When you click on Options, you'll get this white menu that says Page Numbers. You need to have the following options selected. Start on the first page, or show on the first page, start at number 1, and that they're positioned as the header at the top of the page. You will then click Apply, and then exit the header menu by clicking anywhere outside of the header on your paper. Anywhere else on the page will work. The cursor will then automatically appear in the top left-hand page side of the paper, and then you need to set your paper into double spaced. All right. The entire essay, including the title page and abstract, must be formatted in the double spacing. This makes it easier for professors to leave comments between the lines if they need to, and overall, it's just a lot easier to read. You get there by clicking Format, Line Spacing, and then Double. Make sure that double is clicked, all right? You also want to make sure that there are no spaces that will appear before or after paragraphs, so make sure that these two options, add space before paragraph and add space after paragraph, are unchecked. All right. Now this brings us to formatting the paper itself. Make sure you have the center align option on, as the title page, what you're about to do, is all centered. All right. Note how the title page begins in the middle from both the top and bottom and left and right of the page. I have found that hitting enter 7 times from the very top will get you near this center. So on that center line, type the title of your essay. It needs to be in bold, so turn that option on before you start typing. Please have an attention-grabbing title that is specific to your essay. That makes your work more interesting to anyone who begins to read it. Do not put your title in quotation marks, and do not capitalize every single letter. Only the first letter of the first word, the first letter of the last word, and the first letter of any major words in between get capitalized. A major word, for the purposes of titles, is a word longer than 4 letters that is not an article, so a, and the do not get capitalized. No conjunctions, so for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so get capitalized, none of them. And prepositions, words that describe relationships between two things, about, of, between, on, under. None of those words get capitalized either. This specific set of rules for titles is called title case and is used for book, film, magazine, and article titles as well when you're writing out those titles from other works. Then, when you're done with that title, hit enter, take the bold option off, and then type your name. This should be the name that you've been called by in class and your last name. Please don't confuse your professors by going by one name in class and then putting a different name on your essay. Hit enter again, and then put the course name, the course number, and the section number on that line. This should turn out looking something like English 120, Section 4, Spanish 101, Section 12, History 321, Section 1, whatever. Hit enter again, type your professor's name on the next line, hit enter one final time, and type the due date of the essay. This needs to be the date the work is due. No one cares when you started writing the essay. No one cares when the essay was assigned, so just put the actual due date on that final line of the title page. Now you got your title page done. The next thing you need to do is create a page break, which puts you onto a fresh page. Don't hit enter a bunch of times. All right. Instead, go to the insert menu, scroll down until you find break, and then select page break. It's important to get into the habit of doing page breaks between sections like the title page, the abstract, and between the body of the essay and the references page. As opposed to hitting enter a bunch of times, as just hitting enter is going to give you some wild looking page beginnings if you add more to the abstract or to the body of your paper later on. It doesn't matter so much on the title page, but it does elsewhere, so go ahead and get into the habit of using the page break function. Now, if you formatted the page numbers correctly before, you'll see a 2 in the upper right hand corner of the page where your abstract begins. All right. If your professor wants an abstract. If your professor doesn't want an abstract, this is where your essay will begin. But I do want an abstract. All right. So this first line on the second page does need to have the word abstract there, again in bold, still centered at the top of the page. Then hit enter one time. Set the paper to left align so that the left side is straight. All right, make sure that the bold is off, and begin typing the abstract itself. This is supposed to be a short document, like I've said before, roughly 100 to 200 words long, and it's just set up to tell readers what the point of your longer essay is about. Now, the length of an abstract does vary based on the total length of the longer work, so it's good to shoot for about 10% of the essay's required length. Do not include sources in your abstract. Leave those sources for the body of the essay itself. When you have written the last sentence of the abstract, you need another page break. All right, this third page is where the actual essay itself begins. Put the title, the same one as you had on the title page, on that page again, center it, have it in bold, hit enter one last time, make sure the bold is off, Hit the tab key one time to to indent the first paragraph and begin writing the essay itself. Remember to indent the first line of every paragraph. And again, do not have empty lines between paragraphs. As you write your essay, please remember that anytime you have a source, which is outside information, stuff you got from somewhere other than you will need an in-text citation. All sources, except for interviews and other personal communication that are cited in the body of your essay, also get cited on your references page. That personal communication is only put in the body of your essay, as APA does not put unpublished source material onto the references page. This is because those sources typically cannot be found again. Your in-text citations will typically be the last name of the author and the year that the author published their information, whatever it is, as those publication dates are very important to APA style writing. The newer the date, the more up-to-date the information is considered. At the end of your essay, if you have any outside sources, you will need a references page. This always begins on a totally new page, so insert another page break to do this. After that page break, you'll center a line and type the word references. Again, this goes in bold. Hit enter again, and you're ready to begin putting your sources in. There's a special type of formatting here called hanging indent, which puts the first line of the source out further than the other lines in that citation. You get there by going to Format, Align and Indent, Indentation Options at the bottom of that menu, and then selecting Hanging from the pop-up menu that pops up underneath the Special Indent menu. Always put your references entries in alphabetical order by the author's last name. It doesn't matter where in the essay the citation was found, or how many times you used it, or how much information you got from there. Use alphabetical order. If your source does not have a named author, that's okay. You can still use the source. Just begin with the title of the source instead. If this is a website, like this one here, all right, then first look for an article title on that particular page. If you can't find an article title on the page, then look at the tab itself that opened onto that page. The website tab probably has a title on it. Look at Purdue's online writing lab or in the back of your book for directions on how to cite your sources. You can also look at the APA style guide that I linked on Canvas. There is also an APA style presentation up on Canvas that you can look at now too. If you have any questions about how to make this formatting work or other things related to an APA essay, please let me know. I'm happy to help as much as I can. I hope this video has helped you some, and happy writing.